Ew, gross. We need to do something about this. Hey everybody, it's Liz with Austin Edible Gardens, and I'm checking in on our stock tank pool that we built in April of 2020. It's now 18 months old. We love it. Kids use it in the summer. I use it in the winter for cold plunging. However, it has started to rust. So I think the rust is caused from the chlorine tablets that we float in the water. There's always one tablet in here, kind of year round. However, after 18 months of use, it has started to cause rusting on the inside of the tank. So we want to get rid of the rust so we can continue to use the pool. The plan is to drain the water, clean out the inside of the tank, and then seal it with a 2-part epoxy, fill it back up with water, and hopefully that keeps the rust out for another few years. The first thing I need to do is drain the water. I'm going to use a regular garden hose and put it in the tank, run it out to our yard, to the grass, and siphon it out the other end and let it drain. We just finished the first step using an angle grinder and a wire wheel. We took off the first layer of rust. Don't forget to wear a mask and eye protection when you're doing that. We sprayed out everything with white vinegar and then wiped that out. And we noticed some pitting and scale left on the metal, but we're going to take care of that with the next step. The next step is to use this metal prep. It's going to neutralize any rust left in the tank, and it's going to help the epoxy stick to the metal. Okay, we let the metal prep set overnight. Now we're going to sweep out any debris fallen from the trees. We're going to wipe down any residue from the metal prep that's been left on the metal. And then we're going to start our 2-part epoxy process. I've never done this before. We're going to read the instructions. It has to go pretty quickly. So we're going to have everything ready to go as we start, and I'll show you how we epoxy. Here's a list of the items that we use for the project. A paint pan and a paint roller with a head that's made specifically for epoxy, cheap brushes for the cracks and the edges of the tank, measuring cups to get the ratios for the epoxy right. There's going to be a base and a curing agent. And the epoxy that we use is from a company called Total Boat, and it's made to help protect boats that are sitting in the water. Once you're ready to use the epoxy, make sure the base is mixed and stirred really well before it gets added to the curing agent. You have about an hour work time before the epoxy starts to harden once you mix the two, so be ready to work quickly. We did a total of 3 coats of epoxy, waiting 24 hours between each coat. And then we waited 3 days from the last application to add water to the tank. All right, it's been about 7 days. We've been enjoying the pool. Kids been playing in it. The water feels great. However, today we noticed a little bit of rust starting. So this morning I noticed some rust starting right along this little ridge here, and then along this seam where the metal comes together. So it's kind of a bummer about seeing the rust this morning. We're not sure what happened. Maybe we didn't sand it well enough and get all the rust off. We may have needed to add another coat of the epoxy, but the bottom of the tank still looks great. It's just kind of along the edges or where some of the metal is meeting. Our plan is to continue to use it this summer. We'll drain it in the fall and check out how bad it's rusted and decide if we want to sand again and reapply epoxy, maybe do a plastic pond liner, or something different then.